Welcome back to the channel, folks. My name's Shane. This is the last half of the second Keys to the Guitar Shop episode. If you missed the first part, I'll leave a link to the playlist up in the cards. The theme of this video is amplifiers, so if you like sub 20 watt amplifiers, this video's for you. Now, we were absolutely loving these little amplifiers, so we thought we'd take them for a spin. One of the Classic Vibes caught Brian's eye. He's like, oh, what's that? That looks really good. And it was the Squier Classic Vibe 50 Strat that Rick played the prior week, so we thought, why not give these a shot? This was Brian's first experience using a Classic Vibe, and he had a lot of favorable things to say about it. So I grabbed the 50s Telecaster off the wall that I reviewed recently, and if you missed that, I'll link it up in the cards and you can take a look. It holds its own with my far more expensive Telecaster. Let's take a listen. So as you can probably tell, I'm right at home on that Squier Classic Vibe 50s Telecaster, being that I reviewed it recently and that I've also owned one, so it felt great to play, no complaints on my side. Now, the only small downside to the Strat that Brian found was that he didn't like the vintage fretboard radius, but that's a subjective thing. Other people might love that, right? So with that small criticism aside, he said it played great. I kept asking him after every time we used something, hey, what do you think of it? Just to give you some information, you know, at the end of this particular review. So yeah, very cool guitar. He just said it played beautifully, it looked good, it felt good to play. Just that vintage fretboard radius wasn't for him. Up next might be the biggest surprise of the night, the PRS Sonzera 20 amplifiers. I've never been a big fan of PRS amplifiers. They're just very bland, but these ones rock. The reason they rock is they're 20 watts and they're loaded with 6L6 style tubes in the power section, giving them a very big and full sound. Kind of reminiscent of that of something like a Blues Deluxe or a Hot Rod Deluxe in terms of oomph, but with their own unique, fat, thick tone that never gets ice picky or shrill. It sounded so good that Brian went back 2 days after this and purchased one. So I was right on the fence too. I'm still like thinking, oh, maybe I should do this. Now, Brian was using the clean channel of the amplifier with his pedals, which is the best way to run these amplifiers in our experience. And I was using the drive channel, trying to get something that worked out of it. And it was a little on the fizzy side, not the most inspired tone, but it was worth a shot. I wanted to show you the difference between them, because not everyone will want to run it with pedals. So if you're going to be buying one of these amplifiers, I would highly suggest using it on the clean channel with your favorite effects, and it sounds mighty. Not only that, it's nice and small and easy to get around. So let's take a listen. This amplifier might be the sleeper of 20 watt amps. What separates it from a lot of other 20 watt amps, it's not EL84s or 6V6, we get those 6L6 style valves. Now they are slightly smaller 6L6s. I'll leave some information on screen or in the description. But overall, man, what a tone. That was by far the fattest amplifier in the room, even over the Deluxe Reverbs and everything else. They just sounded so much fatter and better, and I'm so glad Brian has gone back and purchased it because that's his tone. He goes for that thick, round tone. And 20 watts is plenty loud when you're talking about 6L6s because you don't get that squish that you would get, say, from something with 6V6s. You turn it up and it caps out pretty quick, whereas 6L6s will stay cleaner longer. So yeah, great stuff, Brian. I hope you enjoyed the amp. Man, I want one. Due to the fact that these amplifiers were so much fun, we thought we'd use them on a follow-up video. Now, I grabbed a Gibson custom shop Les Paul worth a lot of money off the wall, and Brian grabbed the cheapest Yamaha Pacifica in the store worth under $200, I'm pretty sure. So we grabbed guitars at different ends of the price spectrum. We both got onto the clean channel, and wow, let's take a listen. Up next, we thought we'd grab a couple of different amplifiers that we hadn't showcased in this particular video. So I went and grabbed a Vox AC10 C1, and Brian grabbed the 68 Deluxe Reverb that I used in the prior video that we did with Rick, and both sounded great. Now, these are very different amplifiers in their voicing. The Deluxe Reverb sounds fuller and nicer and warmer and all that kind of stuff. It has that classic Fender clean tone, whereas the Vox gets gnarly. Now, being that I've owned a Vox before, I changed pedal boards at this particular point, and I used the Maxon Overdrive OD820, which is the Overdrive Pro. A great combination with this amplifier and some of the best sustain I've ever had. Let's take a listen. One of the things that surprised everybody in the room was just how well the AC10 kept up against the Deluxe Reverb. When I told Drew, who's playing drums, that it was a 10-watt amp with a 10-inch speaker, he was like, what? He couldn't believe it. It was so loud. So they absolutely pack a punch, but you're not going to get anywhere near the same type of clean headroom as you do out of a Deluxe Reverb. They're a very different sound, but once you match any type of Vox amplifier with a Tube Screamer or Maxon Overdrive Pro or any of these type of pedals, they really come alive in the mix. You get all the mids back that you inherently lose from having a Vox. They're very chimey. They also have their sort of their own vibe going on. I gotta say, I actually like the AC10 far more than I like the AC15. It's small, it's light, it's loud. It would be a great little rehearsal amplifier. And if you're doing small gigs where you might be mic'd up, it would be an awesome amplifier. I would probably almost take one of them nowadays over a Blues Junior, and I've been a big fan of Blues Juniors over the years, but I feel like there's something magical about those little amps, and the reverb circuit sounds great. Now, in terms of what Brian was playing with the Deluxe Reverb, how can you go wrong, right? Deluxe Reverbs are one of the best pedal platforms out there, and Brian absolutely made it sing, and you do get more clean headroom thanks to those 6v6 output tubes. So overall, both of these amplifiers are great. Which one do you prefer, Fender or Vox? It's up to you. Firstly, a massive thank you to everybody for the support with this new series. This was something I wanted to do for a very long time, and I plan on doing more of these coming up. I sort of want to gear the channel a bit more back towards playing and seeing how stuff actually sounds in the mix as opposed to just at home. It's a whole lot more fun for me, as well as it's fun for the guys to get together and to run amok in a shop. So a big thanks again to Sky Music for letting us do this. Thank you to Drew on the drums, Dave on the bass, and Brian for filling in last minute. We're going to have him back on a future video coming up. We might see if we can get 3 guitars in that room. We'll see how we go. Thanks again for watching. Catch you soon. See ya.